All right, so a percent describes a part of a group, but how do we make use of that information? How do we figure out how big that part is? Or, on the other hand, if we already know what part of a group we have, how do we find the percent? In general, how do we use percents to figure out numbers? So in the last video we saw a story. 83% of dentists surveyed recommend Crestor toothpaste. Now, suppose we happen to know that Crestor surveyed exactly 300 dentists. How many did they get to recommend them? How many actual dentists does this represent? Well, the total dentists surveyed was 300. And we know that for every 100, we had 83. So what we want to know is 80 out of 100 is the same as how many out of 300? I don't know about you, but this suggests a proportion to me. And the way I'm going to get my ratios in my proportion is I'm always going to write part over base. I'm going to get one ratio from the percent, and that's always going to have 100 for the base. And then I'm going to get the other one from the real numbers. So the typical percent problem, as such, will give us 2 of these 3 values and ask us to find the other one. So in this problem, what are our actual numbers? We have 83%, so 83 is going to be the part from the percent. We know they actually surveyed 300 dentists. We know that the dentists actually surveyed was the base. So 300 will be the base. And then we want to know how many actually recommended Crestor. So what we want to know is the part. So we'll solve this proportion. X times 100 is 300 times 83. Do this multiplication. 83 times 300. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 8 is 24. Throw in some zeros. We'll get x times 100 is 24,900. So what times 100 is 24,900? That's the same question as what is 24,900 divided by 100. I think it's easy to see that this is going to be 249. How many dentists recommend Crestor? 249 dentists recommend Crestor. And this is how we approach the typical percent problem. All right, let's see some that are given without any context, just to practice this technique. Let's say I asked you, what is 85% of 40? Right, without context, all we can rely on to indicate the base is this percent of. So when we're giving the base explicitly, as we always do when there's nothing to imply it, we always say percent of base. We could also phrase this question, 85% of 40 is what? Though that would be a little bit weird. So we will always set up the same proportion, always part over base, and the base of the percent is always 100. In this problem, the percent is 85, the base is 40, and the part is unknown. So we'll cross multiply. X times 100 is 40 times 85. multiplying 40 by 85. 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 8 is 32, 33, 34. We'll get x times 100 is 3,400. What times 100 gives me 3,400? That's the same question as what is 3,400 divided by 100. I'll get x is just 34 by dropping those last two zeros. All right, what if that's not what our unknown is? Suppose my question is, what percent of 80 is 25? Or, to phrase it another way, 25 is what percent of 80? What we're finding out here is the percent, and we're given the base and the part. So we know that the base is 80, and we know the part is 25. And we're asked what percent. So the percent is unknown. What do we do here? We cross multiply. We'll get 25 times 100 is 80 times x. 2,500 is 80 times x. So x is an unknown thing in the multiplication problem. What times 80 is 2,500? That's the same question as what is 2,500 divided by 80. Using what we know about decimal division, we can write this as an easier division problem. 2,500 divided by 80 is the same as 250 divided by 8. So writing that out, 8 goes into 250. 8 goes into 2 not at all. It goes into 25 3 times. 8 goes into 10 once. Uh-oh. Now what? Well, now my answer is a fraction or a decimal. I feel like I might as well leave it as a fraction. So 31 2/8, or 31, 2 and 8 have a common factor of 2. 31 1/4. So my answer then is 31 1/4%. Okay, so this is what it looks like when what's unknown is the percent. What if I asked you, 35 is 70% of what number? Or I could phrase it as 70% of what number is 35? Well, looking at this percent of again, what number? The base is what's unknown here. So we'll set up the same ratio as always. And we'll say the part of the percentage, that's 70. The base is unknown, and the part then is 35. Now what should we do? It should come as no surprise. We cross multiply. 35 times 100 is x times 70. 3,500 is x times 70. So we want to say what times 70 gives me 3,500. That's the same as saying what is 3,500 divided by 70. Again, taking advantage of what I know about decimal division. This is the same as 350 divided by 7. 7 goes into 3 not at all. It goes into 35 5 times. Uh-oh, nothing's left. Now what should I do? This 5 is in the tens place. I need another 0 just to hold the ones place. And so my answer, it's just 50. No problem. All right, I'm going to give you some of these to try. So try each of these. For each one, decide what is unknown and use a proportion to find it. Even if you know another technique that would let you answer this question, please use this technique specifically to work these problems. Pause the video and try this now. All right, so this first question, what is 25% of 44? So I know 25% is the percent of 44. 44 is the base. What is? The part is my unknown. So I cross multiply. I actually work out this multiplication. 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 2 is 10. 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 2 is 10. So I get 1,100. X is the missing thing in a multiplication problem, so I need division to find it. And I get X is 11. Second question. What percent of 75 is 3? So the question, what percent, tells me that the percent that is what I'm looking for. Of 75, 75 is the base, so 3 is the part. Now what? Cross multiply. 3 times 100 is 75 times X. 3 times 100 is 300. What times 75 gives me 300? That's the same question as what is 300 divided by 75. Writing out that division. No shortcuts here. 75 doesn't go into 3. It doesn't go into 30. It goes into 300. I need a guess. I'm going to guess 4. 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 7 is 28, 29, 30. So 4 exactly with nothing left over. X is 4. So the answer up here is 4%. And remember, the answer here was 11. Third question. 15 is 12% of what number? So, of what number? We're looking for the base. The percent is 12. The base is what we're looking for. And the part is 15. We cross multiply. 15 times 100 is X times 12. 1500 is X times 12. What times 12 is 1500? Well, 1500 divided by 12. So we're going to divide 12 into 1500. 12 goes into 15 one time. 12 goes into 30 twice, because 2 times 12 is 24. 12 goes into 60. My first guess is 5 times, and I'm right. So my answer, X, is 125. 15 is 12% of what number? Of 125.